Welcome to Guns and Gear Network, everyone. I wanted to bring you a little video this afternoon that I thought was a pretty important topic, and over the years it has built frustration with me, and I'd like to discuss a little bit about it. And the topic is really about, some of it is misinformation, bad information, not enough information, misleading information, blah blah blah, when it comes to information about guns on the internet. Happens on gun forums, happens on YouTube, happens in a lot of places. Gun shops. I've even seen supposed firearms instructors make recommendations that I just kind of open my mouth, jaw dropped, and was like, huh? Are you kidding? So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to people about when you're looking at buying a firearm, and you're going to get all kinds of opinions and recommendations and everything else. And I don't claim to be an expert, but what I do claim is that I can encourage people to use some common sense, because some of this I don't think people are thinking out logically. Some of the topics that come up are home defense. You know, I need something for home defense. You'll hear people say, you need a shotgun. Then they'll say, you need a pump shotgun. All you have to do is rack that thing and they'll go running. I think they went to when I hear that, I think they went to the same schooling that Joe Biden went to. It's terrible information. They also will say, never buy a 22 for self-defense, ever. And I'm going to go into all this in details. That's just one of the things. They'll say, oh, you got to have a 45. It's got more knockdown power. You hear those things. Or somebody says, hey, have you seen this? You'll see a video pop up when some new gun comes out. I'm trying to think of one. The Canic came out with a few of their versions, and there were all kinds of videos out. New Glock killer, Glock should be scared, or Smith & Wesson M&P replacement, and all this other stuff. So you see all those type videos. Here's the problem that I have. Let's just go back to, let's say, the Canic video. I don't own a Canic. Actually, it's on my sort of short list to possibly buy. However, for somebody brand new to guns, now think about this. You're brand new to something. I don't care if it's horses, and you start researching around and you see somebody on YouTube that's got a lot of followers, this, that, and the other, and you see one video that they talk about the Canic from their interpretation of looking at it and researching it and using it and all this, that it's as good or better than a Glock. There's a good chance that person may go buy it, and that may be okay. The problem is, was there a better choice for them? We'll get into all those details. You get into somebody asking about the best firearm for them for home defense. Again, you get maybe the shotgun answer, or you get somebody that asks about concealed carry, and people start throwing out names of pistols and all this stuff. Well, the problem I have with that, and there's nothing wrong with somebody basing it on experience, as long as that experience is not some people get personally attached to something they bought. They feel like they have to justify their buying it, so they try talking other people into buying it, but they have no real proof of it being what it should be in a firearm, which is, if you're going to carry it for personal protection, is reliable and all those things. So they'll start naming off all these pistols and so forth, and it's like, okay, could there have been a better choice? And there's always, and everybody has to work within budgets, and there's a lot of guidelines that we have to look at, and we have to assess the information. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, is a little bit about assessing the information, whether you're giving advice or you're trying to get advice. If you're giving advice, be careful how you give it, because what the information you give somebody may be, and let me just give you bought ABC pistol. You bought 100 rounds of ammo. You went to the concealed carry course. You qualified with it. You shot X amount of rounds. Let's just say it's 50 rounds, and you got 50 rounds left. And you went out to the range afterwards, and you shot 50 more rounds. And the gun didn't have a flaw in it through 100 rounds. So you went out and bought some self-defense ammo and another 100 rounds to put back, and you've had it in your holster carrying it for 2 years. And you get on the internet and said, I bought pistol ABC and I've never had a problem with it, and I've carried it for 2 years. Does that pistol really have a proven track record to depend your life on? Not my life, maybe yours, but not mine. So my point is, I need to find out, and what I mean by that, if you bought a certain pistol that already had a proven track record, i.e., let's say a Glock 19, then yes, I understand that. But let's say you went and bought the new latest and greatest thing that's came out 6 months ago. That's not smart. But somebody new to guns that's never heard of, they've heard of Glock obviously, but or something like, they may have not heard about this gun, but they think, okay, that's in my budget, and this guy says he's had it for 2 years, no problem, I'm going to go buy it. But you're giving out information that's not really accurate, if you will. Yeah, it didn't give you any problems, but I can go out and buy a brand new car, park it in my driveway, and drive it 5 miles a week to church and back, and that's all I ever drive it. It never gives me a problem for 5 years. That don't mean that car is reliable or durable long term in reality. So unless that car, I bought it knowing it's a Honda Accord, and I know for a fact it's got a dedicated track record that's well known and reliable, that's a different story. But if you're just buying the latest and greatest firearm and saying it's the best thing that you've ever had, then that's not, I don't think, accurate until that gun has been proven by many people or yourself by shooting thousands of rounds through it to make sure it's reliable. So anyway, with that said, so you get into that situation. You also get into people asking questions, wanting information. Well, make sure you're giving them all the information. And even giving them all the information doesn't mean you're going to get accurate information back, but at least helps with people trying to help you get decisions. And because I was on the forum, one of the gun forums recently, and a guy asked about buying a pistol, first pistol he ever owned. And he asked about a couple different versions. He asked about the 22 pistol, a 22 caliber pistol, along with I think a 9mm of some sort. And people were saying, no, do not get a 22 whatsoever, this, that, and the other. And okay, I didn't gather all the information, so I can't make an accurate decision whether he needs a 22 or not. And let me explain why. All right, so on the table here, I've got a Smith & Wesson Airweight, a Glock 17, Smith & Wesson Shield, and a Smith & Wesson M&P 22. This 22 pistol here. Somebody gets on the internet and says, hey, look, I've got a wife. She has debilitating arthritis in her hands. It just she can grip things, but it's very difficult. But she just has a real problem manipulating, like opening jars, opening soda cans, that sort of thing. But she's at home a lot by herself because I'm on the road traveling. I'd really like for her to have something there at the house to protect herself. Okay? Now, with that situation, I may recommend this 22. Why? A, it's full size, so it has a lot to grab hold of for that person. B, it's easy to manipulate because the spring in a 22 slide is easy. It has nice deep serrations here so she can get a hold of it. It also, if that's going to be a problem, we could put some grip tape across the top here of the slide, and she could literally push it against something and then manipulate it. I don't have it on here because I don't use this one as a personal defense weapon, so I don't put grip tape on any one that I don't range use. I just don't put them up there. So my point is the 22 out of the question? Absolutely not. So let me give you this example. I got the 22 laying here in a sharp stick, and I'll say, all right, there's a bad guy getting ready to come around the corner to cause you some problems and has a gun. What do you want? I'm taking the 22 and hope for the best. I sure ain't taking the sharp stick. So that's my point. It really depends on the situation. Some people say, oh, you can train around that, and with the proper training. Yeah, I hear you. I see people that are paralyzed in wheelchairs from the chest down that's water skiing. They got the determination, the grit, the willpower, all that things that matter to get the job done, to train and practice around their situation to make that happen. A lot of people are not going to be dedicated enough to do that, so therefore we need to figure out, okay, what's an option for them. Okay. So instead of water skiing traditionally, now this guy's going to do it a little untraditionally, maybe with some special chair or special this or special that. Okay, it's kind of the 22 situation. No, it's not ideal, but it's sometimes it fits. So you hear that argument a lot with the 22. Some people say, oh, the 22 has killed more people than all the other calibers, or a 22 is deadly out to 100 yards, and all this other thing. That's true. Some of it. Some of it's not. The fact of the matter is, ballistics don't lie and statistics don't lie, as far as bigger bullets make bigger holes and they do a better job at stopping people. You just can't argue that fact. So if somebody says, hey, look, my wife's healthy, everything's good, blah, 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 I would not recommend a 22. That's like you hear a lot of people recommend revolvers. They'll say, oh, if you're a first-time gun owner or your wife's never shot, she needs a revolver. Could be the case, maybe not. Maybe you've been shooting for a while and everything, and your wife really has started shooting some of your firearms, gotten really interested and would like to start doing some shooting. Would I recommend somebody like that a revolver to that lady? No, I wouldn't. Because she's proven that she likes getting into firearms and starting to be comfortable at least shooting some of her husbands and all that. No, I wouldn't recommend a revolver, not for self-defense. If you notice, I got one laying here, so obviously I like them enough to keep one, or I'd have done sold that one a long time ago. And let me tell you why I have this one. Let's say that same husband calls or writes on the internet or whatever and says, look, I got a wife. She stays at home by herself. She's not into firearms. She don't dislike them. She don't care that I have them. She likes that I have them for our protection, but she's really not into firearms. She don't like the recoil that much. She can deal with it. She shot mine once or twice at the range. Didn't really like it. She really don't want to go out and practice. I try talking her to go into the range. She won't go, but she does at least know how to shoot and be safe. I've at least got her that far. And I'm really looking for a pistol for her to keep at home while I'm out of town. What would you recommend? That case, possibly a revolver, to be honest with you. And the reason is because they're easier to manipulate when it comes to malfunctions. However, there's a little caveat to that. The problem with revolvers, when they have a malfunction, it can be very bad and very time consuming to try getting it back into a fight. Like say a high primer or something like that would jam up that cylinder. You may not even get it open. You may have to literally take it to a gunsmith if you don't know what you're doing to safely get that thing apart and get that resolved. So they're not foolproof. A lot of people say, oh, they're the most reliable and all that. I got that Glock there. I may have had one or two malfunctions, and usually that's ammo related, not pistol or magazine related, in tens of thousands of rounds through it. So it's reliable, but that don't mean it's the best choice for that lady because of quote unquote reliability. Obviously, in my opinion, I don't have one down here, but I've got a speed loader for that revolver. So I can make it a little easier to reload, but it's not as easy to reload as sticking a magazine in it. My concern with people when it comes to revolver semi-automatic, as far as the training goes, are they able to clear malfunctions proficiently, not just sit over there on the side of a range, goofing around with it for, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, trying to get it uncleared and finally get it cleared and then be able to shoot it again. You got to be able to clear those malfunctions out proficiently, just as really proficient as you do manipulating the firearm, getting it in and out of holsters, reloading it and stuff like that. You need to be able to do it very quickly. If you're in a gunfight, if you're on a range, different story. You got all the time in the world. I hear people all the time, they went and bought their wife the whatever semi-automatic pistol, And they said, she's almost a better shot than I am. And, oh, really? Well, that's good. And I'll ask, and this goes to men too, I'll ask, do y'all practice malfunctions? The first thing they do is look at me like I have three eyes. And they're like, huh? Do you practice with the gun that don't work? No, it always shoots. It always goes bang when we pull the trigger. What happens if it don't go bang in a gunfight? Can you, your wife, whoever we're talking about, can you clear malfunctions? And I see people or talk to them. They carry semi-automatic firearm, and I ask how they carry their spare magazine. Oh, I got it in my truck, or I got it in the dash, or I got one at home, or oh yeah, I got 4 at the house. Whatever I take to the range. You're crazy if you carry any semi-automatic without a spare magazine. 90% of malfunctions in a semi-automatic is going to be usually magazine related. You are being pretty foolish if you don't carry an extra magazine on your person, either in some type of holder of some sort on your belt, at least in your pocket. If you're going to keep them in your pocket, keep in mind lint and stuff in your pocket can affect those magazines over time. If you don't take them out, clean them, make sure there's not a lot of lint and gunk and stuff that's in your pocket. I prefer actually to have a dedicated holder for it on my belt. But I would rather have a potentially dirty magazine than no magazine when it comes to carrying a semi-automatic as far as a backup extra magazine. So with that said, that's a few things I want to talk about. Is you hear those things, and some of it, like I said, misinformation. Some of it is not enough information for somebody to make a true educated decision. You're just spurting something out. For home defense, best one is a shotgun. Okay, let me give you this example. Let's go back to the same example. You have a person that's at home a lot by themselves. This, that, and the other. Neighborhood's kind of gotten bad over the last few years. They need some type of home defense. And the first thing somebody chimes off and says, you need to get you a shotgun. All right, I'm not saying that a shotgun's not good for home defense. The problem is, do you own any other weapons? I don't own a thing, but I need something. Then a pistol may be the better answer, and here's why. Because let's say that person occasionally walks their dog to go use the bathroom in their yard. Let's say that person has to they live in a rural area and their mailbox is up a driveway, or they need to go out to their car to start it in the morning, or any of that stuff. Gonna be awful tough to tote that shotgun back and forth, walking the dog or checking your mailbox. So a pistol may be the better answer. So that's why I say you got to figure out all these things. If they already own a pistol, and I'd like something a little more than what I have. Had a guy that's a friend of mine. He's not really into firearms. Gotten into them since he met me. He asked me about pistols, and he said he'd like a pistol first. He bought one. He said, look, I'd like to have a little more than a pistol. What do you recommend? I don't want to spend a whole lot of money, but I'd like to buy a little something besides just having a pistol. I recommended a shotgun to him. He went and bought a Mossberg 500 pump shotgun, and the next, because if he had more to spend, I may have recommended something else, maybe like an AR, but he didn't have a lot of money to spend, and he said, I'd like to at least have something now, and I'll save up and buy something more like an AR later. And sure, go ahead and buy you. He found a used one. I think he paid, I don't know, $250, $300 with some accessories and stuff. So again, the conversation has to change based on the information you get, and make sure you're giving accurate information. So earlier I was talking about people recommending specific firearms. The Canic comes to mind, this, that, and the other. Well, I did some research before I started the video earlier today about pricing. And somebody will chime in on, and that was the other thing with this forum post. That's what triggered this video. The guy had a budget, and I think his budget was $400. And he said he would like to hopefully include some accessories in that, like a holster or some ammo in that $400 total purchase price. So a lot of people start rattling off names of pistols and so forth. And so I went and researched current pricing of some pistols that I knew were fairly budget friendly firearms. And here's what I came up with. The Canic, and I can't remember which version. I think it was the TP9. As of today, on one of the websites, was $320. The TriStar, $299. The EAA Witness, $265. The Sky 9mm was $227. The Diamondback was $255. The Taurus PT111 was $199. The Walther PPX was $279, $280, so forth. So the guy, let's use the $400 or less budget. Out of all those, you may have, a lot of people recommended, all these different ones. So here's the thing. There's not one on here that I've named that, to me, has enough proven track record of being a self-defense firearm. I'm not saying they're not good firearms. I'm not saying that any of that, because some of these firearms I actually own. But would I trust my life to them to know that, 99% of the time they're going to be okay and help and make sure that I'm safe? There's just not one on that list that works for me. Again, somebody might say, hey, that Walther is solid. They make excellent firearms. I understand that. But show me that they've been fired thousands of times, been used in service with police, law enforcement, any of that, where they've actually put them through their paces, through maybe their own independent testing, any of that. It's just not there. So people say, okay, then I can't get in that budget you're talking about. Sure you can, and here's how. Some people don't realize this, but I'll go ahead and mention. On the used market, you have what's called police trade-ins. And what that means is the police department decided to upgrade, switch, weapons. Maybe a new chief come in. He hates Glocks. He can't qualify with a Glock worth nothing. But he made it to chief, by the way. Some people's going to chuckle at that, and they'll know what I'm talking about. So he decided he's going to get rid of those, and he's going to buy the Smith & Wesson M&P series. So they'll take trade-ins. They'll take their old Glocks and they'll trade them in, and they'll switch them out to Smith & Wesson M&P or vice versa, the SIGs. There's going to be those type out there. All right, so they put these back on the market because of the wholesale/retailer that did the deal with the police department took them in on trade. So then he'll take them and either wholesale them out to a distributor, or he may sell them individually out to someone else. Then they'll change hands a couple times. So with that said, they hit the market. So I researched those today, and currently you can buy a Glock 22 3 magazines night sights, $320. Glock 22 2 magazines night sights, $349. The M&P 40 $349, 3 mags and night sights. The M&P compact 9mm, by the way, I think it was $329 or something. So, and I didn't get in. There's also SIGs that are police trade-ins, Berettas, obviously. There's quite a few out there that are police trade-ins. If you'll just Google police trade-ins, you'll find them. And so most of those are proven reliable and durable. However, you will find the occasional one. Glock Gen 4 is a good example. They had some problems early on during that when they switched over. Then I think they worked them all out. Smith & Wesson M&Ps had some problems. I think it was specific to a specific caliber, maybe the 357 SIG. One of those. I don't think they've had any issues of the M&P 940, that kind of thing. So my point to that is, if I can buy, why would I go out and recommend a Canic for $320 when a person can buy a used, but usually in police trade-ins they're very lightly used 75% of the time, for the same price, $320? Why would I recommend a Canic that has no true proven track record like a Glock 19 or a Glock 17 or Glock 22? So that's my point. Think about what you're recommending and how you word your information, because some people will take it as you're the expert. He's got videos, he's got, so many posts on a forum, whatever. That doesn't make it accurate. Again, I don't claim to be an expert, but I just use common sense, right? So common sense says I'm buying something that's known reliable. You'll get people that will do it. That's why the people are able to sell new firearms every day. And there's nothing wrong with that. People buy newer versions of cars and all that. All the time, and I'm wondering, golly, why would they buy that? Trying to think of a good example in cars. I guess maybe Jaguars, beautiful cars, but they've not been known to have the best reputation over the years as far as durability and reliability and all that. But people buy them all the time. So my point is, this is saving somebody's life potentially. So we have to be careful of how the information we give, and then even with that, let's say I recommend a police trade-in. Well, you need to be able to inspect that gun, or if they are not capable of it, before you take it and use it for self-defense, take it to a reputable gunsmith and have them do an inspection of it. So again, that's what matters, is making sure you get all the information and give them the idea of what they need to do to make sure that that gun is reliable. Again, we get into, yes, you need to go get training, you need to go have a firearm safety course, you need to have some individual lessons, whatever the case may be. All that, I understand all that. We're talking just straight buying a firearm, pistols, whatever, especially pistols, because that's what brought this conversation up in this video. So that's my point, is, guys, you got to give accurate information, and at least try your best to use common sense when you're looking. Like I said, the Canik, it's a good looking pistol, I will admit, and it's like I said, it's on my semi short list. I plan on buying one, but I already have these that I can carry that I know are reliable. So I'm not saying not buy a Canik, by no means. I'm just saying I don't know that it'd be my first choice to go out and that's the one you're going to carry to save your life one day. If I'd had that pistol and shot, all year with it in matches and all this other stuff, never had a problem with it, would I personally carry it? Yes. Would I recommend it to somebody? Probably so. So that's my point. Once it's been proven reliable, I don't have a problem with recommending certain ones, but also think about what you could have bought for your money. I see people that says, hey, I bought this new, I'll give you a good example, would be like, say, the Smith & Wesson Sigma or this Canik or whatever. For the same amount of money, you could have bought a Glock. Or the Smith & Wesson M&P series that obviously is known and proven reliable in law enforcement circles and potentially some military circles. So anyway, guys, won't take up too much more time on this video. Like I said, I just want to, it's frustrating sometimes on the internet, the information that's out. If you got any questions or anything, or you'd like to chime in on the video, please do. Like your dialogue, that always helps. If you would like, share, and subscribe, that helps us with our videos. If you don't like our videos for some reason, you're more than welcome to do the thumbs down. And if you do that, how about giving us a little critique of why you gave a thumbs down? It's actually helpful for us to make better videos in the future. And like I said, I can't satisfy everyone, but I at least would like the critique to see if maybe it is a good critique, constructive criticism that can be used to help make better videos in the future. If you like our videos, again, thumbs up, that would be awesome, and share them on the other social networks. That's always appreciated also to help grow the channel. And as always, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be bringing you another video in the near future. Have a good day, guys.